amazing character on the air. He's has published 6 books. He's actually published 4 books out of the 6 he's written at 14, the age of 14. And at the age of 10, this chap was appointed the editor of a children's online magazine. And then he won the American Red Cross Youth Hero of the Year award. And he has his own blog, his own program called Right to Lead. His name is Asej Mehta, and he's going to be with us in just a few minutes. Hi, I'm Ray Tedder, and with me in the studio, actually, we're not in a studio, with me here across town is Akshay Mehta. He is 14 years old and he has published 4 books. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm great. Amazing background. I really love, you've taken so many roads and obviously they've been very successful. Let's start with you. Have you always loved writing and reading?
Yes, I actually have. When I was about the age of 4, I really got interested in writing and reading, and that passion is still carried on today.
Okay. So, what kinds of things do you read that really maybe um, prompted you to start writing your own?
Well, I love to read fictional stories, and I also like to read nonfiction. I love all genres of books. Really, they're just I'm fascinated by the idea of reading something that somebody else wrote in fiction, and it just doesn't get old for me.
That's great. Any special writers?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Any special writers? For me,
Oh,
it was Lawrence Durrell and the Durrell brothers and all of their books.
I think Stephen King's a really good writer, and I don't. Roald Dahl is also really good. One of my
Oh
favorite
yeah.
children's book series, and yeah, there's a lot, so it'll be a long list.
You put one down, you pick another one up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I'm in the middle one. It has 780 some pages right now, and it's about Henry VIII. Just amazing piece of writing and beautiful, beautiful writing. So, are there things you before as a become a writer? Things you wish you knew before you started writing?
Not really. I really, actually, yes. I would love if I could find a system that I could organize all my writing in because it's all over the place. So, yeah, I would need to create a system first. That's what I wish I knew.
Or have an assistant that does that for you? No. So, what is the hardest thing for you now in your writing? What do you find the hardest to get
The
going with
hardest
it?
aspect is probably getting the idea first. From there, it just rolls on and on. But the idea has to be good for me enough to keep writing it. I have tons of scrap stories, so.
Hmm. Any quirky habits for write? Because a lot of writers have them. Like
Um,
turn around 3 times and touch your head,
no, not really, not for me at least. I just really need that quiet space and that idea just to get into my head first.
and your parents out help out with that, right?
No, not really. They just provide them. They don't pressure me, so they just provide a motivation source.
That's a great way, great thing. I felt my parents did that too as well. So, as you don't have any kind of special mentor, somebody like a special teacher that you might have had that help you along in the drive to write.
No, not necessarily. My mentor, so to speak, would probably be myself because I'm very self-motivated by my parents, and people around me, such as Mr. Jim Sanders and Miss Rachel Minnick, also are really big supporters. So that really helps.
Right. So, how does a young man your age, 14 is a really an amazing period of time. And so many things are happening in your development. And how do you balance readings, other schoolwork, social life, you know, and this little device here? How do you balance all that in timing?
I think it's really hard to balance it because I have so much stuff going on right now with distance learning and everything. So I just find myself creating a schedule every week, and that way I just go on from there.
So not only you read, you write, but you also, there's a whole nother aspect of your life, which is you've developed this online program called Right
Right to lead.
to Lead. Yeah. So
Yes, so that's a safe platform for young children ages 8 to 16 to get their stories, articles, and book reviews, movie reviews, whatever they want to get published on. And that's about it. And I'm actually currently hosting a writing spree for those stuck at home, which involves you can send any movie reviews, articles, or whatever, and you can send that to righttolead.com. And also, I have books and movies listed there for to get ideas from numerous community leaders, and also from Miss Mayor Pro Tem Anjali Gashby. She has a Storytime Sacramento, which
yeah.
have people reading stories to those young kids, which is I think it's a wonderful idea. And you can also read those, listen to those stories, and then that way you can get ideas to write a book review.
The stories. Stories are important to have heard as a kid, and we had a teacher in, I don't know, I was sixth or seventh grade, who would end the day with another couple chapters in a book, and we just loved that. It just cooled out the afternoon, and when we hit the streets, we felt really good. Yeah, yeah. Oh, hey, music. I like that.
Sorry, someone's at the door.
Oh, someone's at the door. Okay, well, that's okay.
Yeah.
So, tell me more about your online program for writers, because it has different aspects to it.
Yes. So it doesn't necessarily have different aspects. It's more of like a continuous thing that combines together. So it doesn't matter what you write. It could be articles, stories, movie reviews, book reviews. It really just depends on how what you where you want to go with it. So if you want to write a movie review or book review, then go ahead, do it. It's just something that everybody can really enjoy together.
Successful? Do you have a lot of people coming in?
Yes, there's actually a lot coming in, and what's really good about it is that we have some international reviews and stories too. So I find that idea just fascinating. It's crazy that I can reach international people from where I am right now through technology.
While we were talking about your own publications, I forgot one important question, and is how would I get a hold of your books? And maybe you could talk a little bit about a couple of your books, and then we'll go on to how this internet works in terms of education, which is important. So you have
Uh,
four books published. Are they on
yes,
sale somewhere? Can I go
yes, you
to?
can buy them on Amazon and Google Play, and all those proceeds go to numerous children's charities.
Let's talk about the books and the charities. So tell me about one of your more favorite outputs.
Okay, so my first book would probably be my favorite. I was 8 years old when I wrote it, and it's called Super Mouse, and it's a fictional book for young kids, like 4 to 6 years old, and that proceeds go to Sacramento Children's Home.
Wow, that's what the list is. Well, if you go to your website, and I was wondering what those list of various places were, and those are charities that you give the income to. That's
Yeah,
very
you can
interesting.
find all those information on my website.
Wow, that's really good. So, what's the book is about? It's a storybook.
Yes, it's about a super heroic mouse which saves his city.
The city. Good, 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 good. And the other ones. And so you've written six books. What was the last book you wrote?
The last book I wrote was called The Makeshifts. It's more of like a preteen novel or for like 10 to 12, and it's more of like a horror story kind of. And yeah, it's about someone who was trapped in a simulation and had to exit and find himself in a new world.
Finds himself in the new world. Oh, good. Speaking of new worlds, we've talked a little bit earlier about some of your publications are in another world, another country.
Yes, so I have some interviews and as well as some stories published in the Indian newspapers.
Ah, that's good, good, good. Uh, 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 in doing so, how do you do that? I mean, do you send them to the newspapers? You
Well, yes, since I was born in India, so it's kind of very special to me. So I contacted them and I was like, hey, I wrote these stories, and they did some paper on me. So that was really cool.
good. And your direction that you're moving in as a writer, you want to be a novelist, or you're interested in, because I really thought, there are other aspects of writing, where people are on a time warp and they have to get a story in by a certain time and all of that. And you seem to be more to be the kind of novelist or writer that has a number of pots going, and you go to each one and you check it and see whether or not you can move it forward.
Yeah, sort of, because the thing is that I like to keep my writing and writely.com sort of kind of lax, because I don't want it to be so pressurized, because I've had dealt with that experience before and I did not like it at all. So I really like writing in a comforting space, which I don't feel pressured, and I can just write as my mind lets me. So
It's good. This is really good. Okay, so let's talk about distance learning. Since we talked a little bit about it earlier before the show, and I think it's kind of interesting. You are home.
yes.
All kids are
Yeah.
home, and what is the difference now you feel between being in a classroom, being in that classroom situation, and being in a school where you have a number of classes that you go to? How does it work out in terms of the current situation with distance learning? Is it good? Are there aspects of it that are good? Give me a report card.
Okay, so basically, every Monday we get assignments on Google Classroom, and we need to finish them by the next week. And sometimes we have office hours during the week, which we students can attend to and get that personal connection with the teachers and ask any questions. And that's about it so far. There hasn't been that many changes yet. So for me personally, I find it difficult for distance learning because I really relied on that schedule keeping me like with my grades and everything, and having that connection with the teacher and the students. So that's really changed, and that's just the only difficult part about it for me personally.
Is that personal touch?
Yes.
Okay, okay. And so, what other things you find you're learning as much or
I
not?
find that I'm learning more based on content than skills, because I'm learning more about the Magna Carta, biology, and things like that. I'm learning more towards those areas because we have that access to this technology that we can have that resources that we can learn continuously.
Link back and forth. Okay, that's it. What are some of the things that you wish might help you?
Well, I think teachers are doing an excellent job so far, and the school administration are doing the best they can. So I don't really have anything that they could have done better right now. So the and counselors are available 24/7, able to talk through Zoom and stuff like that. And I think that's really important to keep that connection with the students, especially we don't know how what their homes are like and what situation they're dealing with. So
Hmm, hmm. So that's a fascinating jump to it in terms of all kids at home, and they're having to uh, hook up to their schools, and it's a fascinating system that we've had to jump to. But before, there have been kids who have had distance learning as a regular aspect of their schools, and some of them don't find it is too hard for them to do it all at home.
mhm.
Whereas I think your school was much more hands on, right?
Yeah, it was quite a jump from coming from distance learning to like the actual school, because we had spring break, and
Mhm.
after that 2 weeks it was really hard to keep that connection with the teachers and the peers.
Do the teachers have different? Because we talked a little bit about something called Google and Zoom. The
Yeah,
Zoom is a
yeah,
kind of a
so Zoom meetings happen weekly, and those are basically environments where the students can ask their teachers questions and the teachers can give us lectures and stuff like that.
I see, and Google.
Google Meet, yeah, that's also another app similar to Zoom.
Very similar.
Hmm.
I see. Okay, okay. And so, how does all the writing and everything you do, separate from your schooling, affect you on the inside of the school? I mean, are you like, you have like fans?
Oh no,
No,
I don't. But it's just a different jump because usually when I'm at school, school stays at school, and I do my homework, and then I come home, and then I can have my space and time for the writing and reading. But that's just non-existent right now.
I see. Okay. And one thing we talked about earlier, if there are any people your age range listening, the way you seem to be able to make all of these things happen, the editing, the development of your books that you develop, the stories, and working on stories and working on your online program, Right to Lead. Um, is that you really use a schedule. You schedule yourself to do that work. How does that work out for you? Do you find that you've had to change it? How do you place emphasis on one over the other?
Well, for me personally, since I have all this time in my hand, I think that school definitely goes first. That I base my schedule all around the school assignments that I get because it's not the same every week. So I need to make sure that I have enough time to do each one before the next week happens. And then after that, I can do all the extracurricular items that I want to do, like reading and writing and working on writely.com.
I see. Okay. Good. 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 Well, when I was your age, I actually loved reading, and I found myself in bookstores more often than not. And then one of my brothers opened a bookstore, and then my mother ran that bookstore for about 25 years. So
Wow.
we're book people. If you were in this building, you'd find out that there's stacks and stacks are just kind of wobbling against the walls here, and wondering, I hope that doesn't fall down. But I like reading, and I think it's fascinating to talk to somebody who has not only loved reading but has translated that into providing stories for children and people your age. Yeah, it's really something.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, you're quite welcome. You're quite welcome. So what's next? I mean, what is your the current drive for you in terms of your writing?
Personally, I would love to work more on writely.com because that's my main passion right now. I've taken a little break from writing and I'm more focusing on writely.com and giving those opportunities to those other people who can get their work published. And I'm really proud of what has become so far. We recently hit over 1,000 views this month, so I'm really proud of that.
Okay, over 1,000 views. That's great. And these are how many stories are on there or something? How is it big? Is it wide?
There's quite a lot actually. There's many movie reviews, book reviews, and stories. There's plethora of items so you can read and just yeah.
Well, tell me about them, okay? Because it's interesting, and I think that people will want to go there. And I hope that we can show the access uh, information to your Right to Lead page. So tell me
Okay,
about
so
what kind of things that you, as an editor, you writer, you're a reader, a writer, and an editor.
yes. So if you go onto the website writelead.com, WRITE TOLEAD.com. If you go onto there, you will be able to see all of the movie reviews, book reviews, stories, and articles to the right hand side. And there's also criteria for submission. There you could find what I'm personally looking for and what guidelines you would need to follow. And then you could find the contact email there, which you can send your stories and writing pieces to.
Okay, so what kind of stories end up there? What kind of you're talking about?
Oh, there's a lot of stories. There's fictional, nonfiction articles. We have a lot of stories. Personally, I'm more inclined to fiction stories, so there's quite more there. And movie reviews, there's a lot there too.
Ooh, do you have to do some rejections?
No, not I don't do those because I really like to work with that with the person sending it, so I could really incorporate that into my writing and have that up on writely.com.
Ha. Okay. Well, so that's a fairly good thing to do. Young writers really have a hard time with rejection. And what do we have on the screen there? What is that?
So this is the flyer that I have for Spring's for the writing spree on book and movie critiques. They can send their reviews and stuff to contact@rightly.com. And I changed the age for to 6 to 15, so younger students can also participate in this.
6 to 15. Okay, okay. And what are the dates that that's going to happen?
There's no set date or when it's ending or when it started. I just wanted to incorporate that this year because of
I
all
see.
the
Okay.
events going on
It's
outside.
another what they used to call it, six-ball juggle. You know,
Yeah.
oh, I've got a school. Oh, my friends. Oh, what am I writing? Oh, my reading. You've got these balls going up and down, up and down, down. But I mean, a lot of kids do that. But certainly, these are fairly centered in literary activities, right? So, is there anything I missed that you want to talk about that we talked about distance learning and we really wanted to get this whole concept up to see how classrooms are managing it during this time that we're sequestered. And so it's a fascinating time uh, when stores are closed, bookstores are closed, restaurants are closed. It gives us time to do something at home.
It
And
really does.
yeah,
Yeah, I feel like that I have a lot more time to spend with my family as well, and that really builds a connection with me and my family. And it's not that different with friends actually, because we do like to keep in touch through video games, and we like FaceTime and whatever. And yeah, so it is definitely a big change, but I'm happy with the positives that came with it.
it's great. So look, so when you're talking with your friend, did they ever say something like, "Well, what are you doing?" "Well, I'm writing today." And, wait a minute, wait a minute. I want you to come out and play basketball with me. You have problems like that?
No, because I really like I said before, I like to schedule what I have to do this week. So I contact my friends beforehand if they want to play video games or something. So I just incorporate that into my schedule.
I love it. Okay. Well, that's another aspect of growing up is being able to manage the time that you have with your friends because we learn a lot from them. And so, do you have writer friends and non-writer friends?
No, not really. None of my friends are really into writing. I just yeah, so
But you, okay. And they don't hold that against you.
oh no, no.
It could be, you know. So, did you ever consider? So you publishing a book, but you've published. I mean, what about the books? The two books that you finished. You do you send these to publishers?
No, I actually self-publish all the books that I have so far.
I see. Okay, and those go on the internet, so we can purchase them. We
Yes.
talked about two of them. What about the other two?
Those are a two-part series, Etron 1 and Etron 2. That's about it's a sci-fi book about a kid who got shunned from his grandparents, and he went to the military to participate, and it just escalated from there.
It escalated from there.
Yeah, that's all
Usually,
I can say
usually
now.
does. No,
Yeah.
don't tell the story. Let me get it. So we can get online. What are the?
Yes.
Can you give me the titles of each book?
Yes. So, first book that I wrote when I was 8 was Super Mouse. Second book was Etron. Third book was Etron 2, and the fourth book is The Makeshifts. You can find all of them on rightly.com.
Okay. Oh, good, good, good. And so, are there any other writers in your family?
Yes, my mom also likes to write as well, and she's been published before in some newspapers, and I think that connection was really great.
Aha! It is a motivating thing to have someone, at least someone else in the house, who can go,
Yeah,
"Oh yeah, that's a really interesting metaphor you've used there."
yeah.
All right. Okay. So all good then. And let's talk about the future. Okay. What is, I mean, this wonderful online program that which offers so much for young people to be able to just to submit a piece of work to your online uh, program, Right to Lead. I like the title. And uh, there's got to be a kind of what a future to it that you have in mind that you wish it would develop into.
Yes. So basically, the future I have right now for it, I just want to keep growing. I want as many people as who are interested in writing and have that same passion I do to share their stories. And I think it's just a really cool opportunity because once I get more stories, I get more insight on how to write, and so will others when they read those stories on the website.
So it does have a mutual benefit, one for your writing and also and a sense of editing as well. You read the work and you give it an evaluation.
And then I
Yeah,
work with the submitter to, let's see what we can change here, or let's see what we can add here to make that story really
I see
amazing.
you do. Okay, so you're kind of an editor in that regard. That's really
Yes.
good. Good. So I guess in the long run, you're going to run Houghton Mifflin or a major publishing company. What do you think?
Well, actually, I have my eyes set on being a lawyer right now because I just find the law fascinating. I would love to be in the courtroom one day. And I think, yeah, so I will still keep writing, but as a hobby.
That's good. As a hobby. Okay. Okay. Well, I think it's been fascinating talking to you about this,
Thank
and
you.
I we have just a couple minutes. Is there anything that we've missed that you wanted to talk about in terms of your school or the Zoom classroom, which I would like to see work, or what you speak?
Well, so when we had that jump from distance learning to, I mean, from school to distance learning, it was like I got a rug pulled under me. It was terrifying at first. I was like, oh man, how am I gonna balance all these things? And I really sucked at it for the few weeks, but now I'm getting much better, and I really learned that skill of time managing because I never
Yes.
knew how important it was before. And before all this happened, I was like, man, I just want to go home. I don't want to study anymore. And then now I'm like, I want to go back to school and be with my friends. So it's like, yeah, the phrase "be careful what you wish for" it's really true.
Well, true. Well, who knows the what's happening in terms of the timing of all of this with COVID-19. We don't know how much time we have to stay in our homes and do that, and I hope it ends soon. But I want to really thank you so much, Akshaj, for being on our program, and we will welcome you back anytime you publish again.
Thank you. I had a great time here.
Good. All right. So it's LiveWire. We're here every Wednesday at 5 p.m. You can tune in and we'll meet people like Akshay Mehta and enjoy his life at 14 being a published author. See you next week on LiveWire.